This is to our talk of the tape, the road ahead for stocks. Definitely gotten bumpier. The question now is, are there too many potholes to get around? Let's ask Tom Lee. He's managing partner, head of research at Fundstrat, also a CNBC contributor, and also here live at Post 9. Welcome back.
Great to see you, Scott.
What's going on here, Tom?
Well, it's been a rough week. I mean, this September first 4 days were down 4%. It's actually one of the fifth worst Septembers since 1928, so it's pretty bad. I don't think there's actually a lot of fundamental arguments for why stocks are down this much, but I think we've pulled forward seasonality. This September to November period last year was really tough. Historically, it's tough, and I wonder if markets are going risk off early.
So you believe in the soft landing story. You said there's no fundamental reason for this. This is a debate over soft landing versus something worse. Market seems to be tilting towards something worse. You say no.
Yeah, the reason I don't think it's something worse, and we don't know, is that the jobs added was better than July. Remember, July was the hard landing fears because it was such a weak number, and in fact, the number of industries adding jobs jumped to 53%. That's the best in 6 months, and the unemployment rate fell. So I think we're at a point where the Fed could engineer a soft landing, and that's why 2 weeks from now it's going to be important.
50, 25, does it matter to you?
I think it's going to be how the market interprets either number, because there can be such thing as a dovish 50 or a hawkish 50 or a panicked 50, even a hawkish 25. So I think the reality is the Fed is on a cutting cycle. That's really a good catalyst for rotation. Interest rates are going to fall, and it's going to help industries like housing, autos, credit cards come out of this recession. So I think it's good news when they start cutting.
Okay. What's happening in tech? We said that the NASDAQ's down more than 5% this week. We're having the worst week in about 18 months, and the tech sector itself is off more than 7% on the week. What's going on with that trade?
Tech, I think, revealed its hand last week because Nvidia had a good number, but it fell. So when stocks fall on good news, it's either a crowded trade or something bad could be coming. And then, of course, they've led the downside this week. I think it is part of this pull forward the seasonality because people want to de-risk, and tech is a big holding. But I think on the margin there could also be a political aspect to this. Trump's probability of winning actually increased this week in the betting markets and in the polls. And I know investors think he'll be tough on China, which would be bad for semis. So I think part of this could be fears that a Trump gaining is bad for semis.
What if there's just too much priced into these stocks at this point? Valuations have gotten a little too rich, even if they're the greatest stocks in the world, which you've made the argument that in fact they are, that this is the place you want to be maybe more than any other. And what if that's true and the multiples still don't make sense?
I think it's possible. In Nvidia's last 10 years of history, there have been 30% drawdowns, almost 8 times of similar magnitude. Its PE, Nvidia's forward PE, was actually higher at the bottom of those drawdowns. Right now, Nvidia's forward PE is in the mid-20s. So to me, this looks like a normal profit taking. Maybe it takes Nvidia down to the 90s, but I think 2 years from now, that's really going to be a gift.
So when you look at all of these, are you a buyer on the dip? Are you urging people who read your research and listen to you here and elsewhere to do that?
We're close to that point because let's say we thought that there would be a 7 to 10%, the risk of a 7 to 10% drawdown between now and November. We're almost down 5% now. I think next week we could be within that point of where we pulled forward that entire correction into the month of September. So I think we're close to the point where, I wouldn't be a seller here, and I think the lower range of the S&P's 5,400, 5,350, we're almost there now.
You think